up here, I can glaze around and see everybody's feet. Wonderful place to be. Okay, we're gonna move on to our third speaker this evening. Our third speaker is Israel Khan. The title of his speech, "If the vision doesn't pull, you change something." If the vision doesn't pull, you change something. And he's going to be speaking from the High Performance Leadership Manual. Israel Khan.
My friend calls me up 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, my wife is in the hospital. I need transport to go and see her. Why? I asked. Well, my baby daughter is coming today. Now. I said, okay, let's go. I drove up to him, picked him up, took him to the hospital. 2 hours later, I had the privilege with him to see the baby the first time. But to my amazement, he said, this baby is not as good looking as I thought she would be. And then he stopped. I was stunned, but knew him for a very long time. Knew that he was straightforward and did not mince his words. And I told him subtly, even if you find that ugly genes in your family and relate that baby to him or her, yes, I will do that. Just as he said, I will do that, the nurse appears and says, wow, the baby looks exactly like you. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, what does this have to do with my HPL, which in other words is High Performance Leadership Manual? Nothing. The reason I said this baby scenario is some things happen with the law of nature. We don't have to monitor it. Just like coming of a baby. It's a natural process. While on the other hand, some things we have to make happen. And one of those things was the TLI, which is Toast Leaders Institute meeting on the 1st of February. Now this thing won't come naturally, and we had to have it going. How, what, when, where, like a journalist, we had to find answers to that and make it happen. So I was given that golden opportunity to be the chair of that project. More like I was trusted in it. My name was given without me knowing by two gentlemen who came in three-piece suits and ties in this very room right at that very moment. You look around, you might find them. They are district officers at their best and leadership at their highest qualities you will find in them. So they gave my name, and yes, I took the challenge. Challenge was for me to get that started. In Woodland Hills, Kaiser Permanente, the first ever leadership training. Why first? Because for the past years, we had the tendency to train all the officers in one big place at Glendale Community College. Now, what changed? Someone came up with the idea that since most of the clubs are centered around this area, why don't we bring it closer to home and make it happen here? What would be different? It would happen in a weekday, on Wednesday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That in itself was a challenge. Not many leaders want to commute, and attend a meeting on a weekday. It's the special people that can make time and effort to come and self-improve. And I'm glad we have Toastmasters who are full of these people. So, given that, the main thing was for me to organize it and come up with an objective of what exactly it would entail. First of all, we had that training and it was free. We did not have anyone pay for that. We had to get sponsors to get the drinks, coffee, water, bagels, whatever we offered. And to do all those, I had to come up with a committee. Now with every committee, if you are a leader, you need people who you can trust, people you can count on, people who you know who can be there when you want them to be. But with that committee comes a guiding group. We all call it values in companies. All company has got an operating value. It's their integrity, it's how they operate, it's how they deal with customers, a set of written rules which all employees has to abide by, learn to understand that, and work towards as a group. So let me ask you a question. What is the difference between a manager and a leader? Probably not too much. That's good. Anyone else would like to try that?
Leader manager should be a leader.
Perfect. A good manager should be a leader. Anyone else?
A leader inspires.
Okay. And
A leader is
manager?
creative.
And a leader is creative. Very nice. Let me give you my definition. And there are so many other definitions, which you are all correct, by the way. A manager will take a process and try to make things happen today, now. You manage that task. You manage this process. Get the result. It will happen today or in the very near future. A leader will look at the process, will get the helping hand, or maybe someone who's willing to learn, show that person the way, and get out of the way. That is a leader. He or she will always train that person by giving them the proper tools, the proper guidance, and telling them this is how you achieve it. So my role was exactly that. I had to come up with a committee and tell them, okay, this is what we need to happen, this is the time frame, and these are the checks and balances of it. Which I'm glad that in the committee, I had all those very, very dedicated people that made that happen. Long story short, we had 100 attendees that evening. We had a world champion in 2005, world champion of public speaking, deliver our keynote, which in itself was a crowd puller. And later on when I conversed with him, he said this was one of the most successful events that he had come and talked in this area. So I was impressed and I was very pleased with that. So I will like to shout out a few names who are in this room at this point, without whom this project would not have been successful. First of all is Janet, and I would like to applaud. Thank you. Amit for his guidance. Thank you, Amit. John Murray. Thank you, John. And Peter Janker. Peter deserves a special mention. He had an unforeseen circumstance that had come up that very same day in his family. But he said, well, I committed to you, so I'm here. And he was there. So a big shout out to Peter. Thank you. Now, after hosting that event, as a good leader, anyone would go and analyze it and think what I could have done better. Because experience is one thing, but unless we evaluate that experience means nothing. So, things that I thought we could have done better was, we had a scenario where we had served all the food and drinks outside the room. It could have been done inside the room at the back. And this was not my idea, it was also coming from one of the district directors who said there will be too many disturbances once we have that inside the room. But aren't we as Toastmasters who are speaking always trained that there will always be disturbances when someone is talking? So if anyone is speaking or presenting, that disturbance should not cause any disruptions in his or her talk. And the point I'm trying to make here is, if you are relaxed, sitting and eating in the same room and listening to someone speak, you will comprehend things better, faster. And That is the idea behind that mindset. That works for me. When I'm relaxed, I can comprehend anything. Now, another thing that I think would have happened and we could have improved upon was, we could have hired or maybe opted to open the partition and make that room bigger. Unfortunately, when we were trying to bargain for that and say, hey, we want to use the other room, we were told that room will be in use that evening at the same time. But that was not the case, because when our event was going on, that room was completely empty. So maybe we talked to the wrong person and was given the wrong information. So we have to oversee all those things before we actually finalize our decisions. All in all, HPL, which is High Performance Leadership Manual, is one of those projects that I think everyone should undertake and try to grasp and lead from by learning from there. The reason is, it does not always apply to our Toastmasters events. My experience that I have gained will also and always apply to any other project I will take or undertake at my workplace, in my community, family events, organizing things. The basics, if you break it apart, the structure and the basics are the same. There has to be an objective, what we're trying to achieve, how we're gonna go and achieve that. There has to be a mission statement. There has to be some guiding values, and a committee who's gonna do what? A common vision for all. And if you are being a leader, simple, just organize it, make everyone understand the purpose of it, and make them walk through to that point. Tell them if you need any assistance, circle back with me, and I will walk with you. In a sense, that was my learning. But without the guidance of my mentors here, Amit, John, Jojo, I would not be giving this talk, because they gave me confidence and told me you can do it. So I took on the challenge. Thank you all.
Okay, we're gonna do something a little different. The first three speakers that you heard, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead. First of all, I want to get the timers report.